Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Blaze, and today's story is a masterclass in swift, decisive justice delivered to a spouse who fundamentally misunderstood the meaning of a marriage vow. We are talking about a wife who took a 3-month break and expected a hero's welcome upon her return. The core of this drama is the wife's shocking entitlement, the husband's quiet, devastating preparation, and the single, iconic object that delivered the final, non-negotiable blow. The black envelope. This is one of the most satisfying stories of personal vindication you will ever hear. This is a super long marathon video full of emotional nuance, legal strategy, and a powerful final update, so please, get comfortable. You are absolutely going to want to stick with me through this entire saga of ultimate betrayal and comeback. If you are enjoying this content, please take one moment right now to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Seriously, your support is the only way I can keep bringing you these deep dive stories. Hit that bell and let's get into it. Let's dive into the initial post detailing the utter shock of the abandonment and the subsequent 3-month wait, titled, "My wife unexpectedly returned after abandoning me, said I just needed some space, be glad I'm back. I handed her the black envelope and the keys. My wife Ava and I were married for 6 years, together for 9. We had a great life, or so I thought. We owned a beautiful house of 50/50 joint mortgage. We had a comfortable life, and we had plans for the future. The one thing we didn't have was conflict. We rarely fought, and I mistook that silence for strength, when in fact it was just complacency and her avoidance of anything difficult. 3 months ago on a Tuesday, I came home from work and found a hastily written note taped to the refrigerator. It was short, cold, and devastating. It simply said, 'I need space. I'm going to stay with a friend for a while. Don't try to call me. I'll be in touch.' The note was signed Ava, that was it. No warning, no explanation, no conversation, just a complete, sudden, and terrifying abandonment. My world imploded. For the first 2 weeks, I was a wreck. I called her family, her sister, her closest friends. Nobody knew anything, or at least, that's what they claimed. Her phone was off. Her social media went dark. I was essentially ghosted by the person I had vowed to spend my life with. I walked through the house, feeling every single memory turn instantly toxic, every picture on the wall a mocking reminder of a lie I hadn't seen. After 2 weeks of living in a haze of panic and grief, my sister, Sarah, came over. She looked at me, saw the mess, and gave me the hard truth. You are mourning a marriage that she walked away from, and you are doing it alone. You need to start moving forward. Don't be the victim she wants you to be. That was the pivot point. I realized I was spending my energy hoping a person who had proven her complete lack of commitment would suddenly become a wife again. I took down the pictures, packed her belongings into our spare room, and decided to operate on the assumption that the marriage was over. I wasn't going to wait 3 months for her to decide if she wanted me back. I was going to decide if I wanted her back, and the answer was becoming a resounding no. I immediately consulted a divorce attorney. I gave him a complete, detailed account of her abandonment. He told me that her leaving without notice was a key factor and advised me to keep a meticulous log of her absence and lack of communication. He stressed that a 3-month separation, combined with a clear intent to abandon, was a powerful position for me. He drew up the initial divorce paperwork, and that's when I found the envelope. I asked him for a special, large, opaque black envelope to hold the completed, unsigned documents and the key to the house. In the following 8 weeks, I threw myself into my work and fitness. I started therapy. I changed the house. I repainted the living room, got rid of the furniture she picked out, and made the space completely mine. The house finally started to feel like a home again, a safe place, not a mausoleum of a dead marriage. The anxiety began to subside, replaced by a quiet, fierce resolve. I changed all the locks. I didn't tell her family or friends. My sister, Sarah, was the only person in the loop. I wanted the element of complete, non-negotiable surprise. I wanted to control the final narrative, not be controlled by her reappearance. The house was no longer our house, it was my house. I refinanced the mortgage into my name, a complex and expensive process, but one that was necessary to cut the financial cord. I took on a second side job to cover the extra costs. I was preparing for a new life, not waiting for the old one to restart. Then last week it happened. My phone rang with an unknown number. I almost didn't answer it. It was her. Her voice was bright, cheerful, and sounded exactly like the Ava I used to know. "Hey, babe. It's May. I'm coming home. I'll be there in an hour. Just needed some space to clear my head. We'll talk soon." I didn't argue. I didn't yell. I didn't ask where she'd been. My voice was monotone, completely devoid of emotion. "Okay, Ava. See you in an hour." I hung up. No "I love you," no "I missed you," just an acknowledgement of her pending arrival. I felt nothing but a cool, strategic calm. I retrieved the black envelope from the safe, the one containing the complete divorce petition, the statement of all marital assets divided, and a notarized letter from my lawyer confirming she would be served the moment she signed the paperwork. I placed the envelope, along with her newly cut-off house key and a copy of the new mortgage documents, on the dining room table. Precisely an hour later, I heard a car pull up. The garage door opened and then closed. She walked into the kitchen, looking rested, tan, and carrying a new, expensive leather tote bag. She looked like she'd been on an exclusive spa retreat, not battling an existential crisis. She hadn't even had the decency to look distraught. She smiled, a big, confident, infuriating smile, and walked toward me. She went to hug me, but I stepped back, keeping a firm distance. Her smile faltered slightly, but she quickly recovered with a sickening line of manipulative justification. She said, exactly in a dismissive, patronizing tone, "I just needed some space, honey. You know how I get. But I'm back now. Be glad I'm back, and let's not make a big deal out of it." I didn't say a word. I just walked over to the dining room table, picked up the black envelope and the keys, and walked back over to her. I extended my hand, holding the items out to her. Her confusion was immediately visible. "What's this?" she asked, her voice losing its cheerful edge. "And why are the keys different?" I met her eyes. My voice was calm and devastatingly final. "The key is for the mailbox. I changed the locks on the house 2 months ago. The black envelope contains your copy of the divorce petition, already filed, and an itemized breakdown of all marital assets and our property division agreement. Your things are in the spare room. You have 72 hours to arrange a pickup. You can communicate through my lawyer, whose contact information is inside." The look on her face was priceless. The confidence drained instantly, replaced by sheer, dumbfounded shock. Her jaw dropped. She tried to stammer out an excuse, a protest, but I just held my hand out until she took the envelope and the key. The black envelope, a symbol of her utter, final rejection, was now in her hand. My 3-month silence had spoken 1,000 decisive words. The community was immediately on the OP's side, horrified by the wife's manipulative behavior and eager to see the full story unfold. Let's look at the best and most supportive reactions to the initial post. The black envelope MVP said, "Not the a-hole. You are my hero. The level of premeditation and control is absolutely brilliant. You used her 3-month absence to completely de-risk your future and divorce her on your terms. She wanted space. You gave her the ultimate permanent space. The black envelope is the stuff of legends. She will never pull that move again. The black envelope is the ultimate power move. It's the visual, non-verbal representation of a marriage's death certificate. The OP turned 3 months of pain into 3 months of unassailable legal advantage. She never stood a chance. The fact that he refinanced the mortgage is a stroke of genius. He completely decoupled her financially before the confrontation. She has 0 leverage. She's walking away with a lawyer bill and a massive reality check. Zero Contact Advocate said, "Your sister is the real MVP for giving you that reality check. You didn't just survive, you thrived and took control. This wasn't a break, it was a test, and she failed it spectacularly. People who abandon you don't get to choose when they come back. You chose for them, not the a-hole." The sister's intervention was the catalyst for the OP to stop grieving the past and start building his future. It's a powerful lesson in taking control of a toxic situation. Lawyer Up consultant said, "Excellent legal strategy. Her abandonment is strong evidence of no-fault grounds and intent. You should also consider investigating where she was for 3 months. If she was cohabiting with someone else, especially if it was a coworker she claimed to hate, as is often the case, it can impact the financial settlement in some jurisdictions. You were decisive, legal, and emotionally cold, which is exactly how to win a divorce. Not the a-hole. That's a good point. The expensive new tote bag and the tan complexion don't scream couch surfing at a supportive family friends. The OP should definitely look into her whereabouts to rule out any fault grounds. The black envelope moment was one of the most satisfying confrontations ever recorded on Reddit, but the aftermath of a surprise divorce is rarely clean. This is the update detailing the fallout, the discovery of where Ava was, and the final, beautiful conclusion. Before we dive into the final act of this incredible saga, I'm guessing you are enjoying this long story. If you've been listening all this time, please take a moment and hit that like button and subscribe. It is the absolute best way to support the channel and bring you more justice stories. The fallout from the black envelope moment was immediate, dramatic, and ultimately short-lived. Ava did not take the news well, to say the least. The shock eventually gave way to a furious, screaming meltdown that confirmed every single one of my reasons for leaving her. The woman who had been so cool and collected upon her arrival immediately transformed into an entitled, desperate wreck. She spent the next hour alternating between furious accusations, "You cheated on me, you've been planning this, you're destroying our family," and pathetic, crocodile-teared begging, "I still love you." It was just a mistake. I was confused. I stood there, utterly unmoved, feeling a cold detachment that only total betrayal can provide. I never raised my voice. I simply repeated the key phrases: "Communicate through my lawyer and your 72 hours starts now." The truth of her 3-month space came out almost immediately, exactly as the community suspected. My lawyer ran a standard but thorough investigation, which was made easy by her complete lack of subtlety. It turned out she had been living with a colleague from her office, a man named Derek, a VP who she had always claimed to despise. The tan and the expensive new tote bag made sense now. They had been on a 3-week trip through the Caribbean, funded entirely by Derek. The worst part was the timeline. My lawyer's investigator found evidence that the arrangement with Derek had been underway for at least a month before she left. She hadn't left for space, she had left to upgrade. The abandonment was a calculated, selfish move to see if her upgrade would work out. She only came back when the new relationship showed signs of trouble, realizing she had given up a comfortable, financially stable life for a fleeting, expensive affair. My lawyer used the cohabitation evidence and the clear intent to abandon to shut down every single one of her attempts to delay the divorce or demand a larger share of the assets. We were able to finalize the no-fault divorce incredibly fast, and the asset division was very favorable to me, largely because I had already refinanced the house and secured the primary asset in my name before she even returned. She was furious, demanding a bigger chunk of my retirement, claiming emotional distress. But the sheer audacity of her demands, coupled with the evidence of her affair and abandonment, completely undercut her position with the judge. She was left with a modest settlement and a mountain of legal bills. She had gambled her marriage and her security on a brief affair and lost everything. The real victory, however, wasn't the legal one, it was the personal peace I regained. I have the house my sanctuary and it is now 100% mine, debt-free. The nursery to be, which she always put off creating, is now my home office, a symbol of my future, independent career goals. I have moved on completely. My sister Sarah and I are closer than ever. She organized a small divorce party where we burned the old note Ava left on the fridge. It was incredibly cathartic. My therapist affirmed that my 3 months of preparation saved me years of legal and emotional torment. I turned betrayal into proactive independence. As for Ava, the last I heard, the relationship with Derek fizzled out spectacularly a month after the divorce was final. She is currently renting an expensive apartment she can barely afford, and she's already back on social media, twisting the narrative that I was the cold, controlling one who forced her out. The truth, however, is sealed in the official court record and in the memory of the black envelope. I am now dating again, very casually, and I prioritize honesty and clear communication above all else. My time is precious, my boundaries are steel, and I will never again allow anyone to treat a shared commitment with such casual, narcissistic disregard. The fear and pain are gone, replaced by a quiet, fierce contentment. I am free. The black envelope delivered the final word, and it was devastatingly effective. The update thread exploded with support and a collective desire to know the full truth of Ava's 3-month space trip. The community was completely vindicated in their support. Let's look at the best reactions to the final verdict. The black envelope MVP again said, "The cohabitation discovery. It's better than we hoped. She didn't need space, she needed a backup plan that failed. The sheer injustice of her expecting a reconciliation after a vacation with the upgrade is truly mind-blowing. OP, you are a legend. The black envelope is the new standard for divorce. Not the a-hole. The truth is always the most painful weapon. She left for a luxury trip and an affair, only to come crawling back when the new, expensive arrangement didn't pan out. The OP delivered a decisive rejection that she richly deserved. Zero Contact Advocate Final said, "The moment she threw the tantrum, you knew you won. The confident Ava was fake, the screaming Ava was the truth. You saved yourself from a lifetime of that manipulation. Congratulations on your freedom and your beautifully executed plan. Your new home office is the perfect symbol of your self-reliance." The emotional shift, the calm OP vs. The hysterical Ava confirmed everything. The OP was the mature adult the entire time. The peace he gained is worth more than any financial settlement. Lawyer up consultant N said, "The legal outcome is incredibly satisfying. Your meticulous log keeping and the preemptive refinancing were the key factors in her failure to secure a better settlement. She gambled and she lost. You turned a personal tragedy into a legal triumph. You should write a book, The Black Envelope Strategy, Not the A-Hole. A book deal. The story certainly has enough drama and strategic genius, for one. The OP's calm preparation in the face of betrayal is a lesson for anyone facing a divorce. Reconciliation No said, "The last paragraph is the most important. I will never again allow anyone to treat a shared commitment with such casual, narcissistic disregard. That's the ultimate closure." She can spin her story all she wants. The OP has his piece. Not the a-hole. His new, fierce contentment is the real victory. He didn't just survive the marriage's end, he engineered the final, powerful chapter on his own terms. A beautiful ending to a dark chapter. Wow. Just wow. The sheer, unearned confidence of Ava walking back in after 3 months and expecting a welcome is truly baffling. But the OP's cool, calculated response is a legendary move. The black envelope will go down in Reddit history. This is a painful but important lesson. You cannot put your life on hold for someone who disrespects your commitment. The OP took control of his own narrative, and in doing so, he saved himself from a lifetime of emotional manipulation. The finality of that moment, handing over the envelope and the keys, is one of the most powerful, non-verbal divorce announcements I have ever encountered. It's a moment of pure, devastating closure. Thank you all for sticking with me through this entire, lengthy script. If you want more stories of justice served, please like the video, share it, and absolutely subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Until then, stay safe and keep those boundaries strong.